Hello. Well, hello, and welcome back. How do you do? How's your do? What do you do? Welcome back. How you doing? How you doing? This is gonna be such a quick and easy and smooth episode. So gather around the table because we're gonna do another scar story. I wonder if you're asking yourself, how many scar stories could I possibly have? Many. And this one is going to go back all the way till I was a child. So, that's life, guys. Sometimes we get scars. And I feel like it is super important to share the details. Because, I'm going to share the story because I'm like, what if someone out there just needs a biopsy of something and they're too afraid to get it, and it just ends up being something benign, that's not maybe they can easily take it out, whatever. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe with a good detox and a diet change, things can change, right? And we're referring to a lot of stuff: warts, those cancers that can be out there, several things. So we're going to talk about a few things, but we talk about other things before we get to the story. Welcome back. You are loved. It is honorable to have your presence always around. Because if you're checking this out, that means that we're on some sort of a similar consciousness level, that we're vibing almost very similarly. Perhaps not in every sense. Perhaps not in every sense we're similar. No, but in much respect, we're probably more alike than the powers that were would like you to believe. We're all one people, you know what I mean? It was Tina Torres that said, it's time we manifest a new collective consciousness. And I feel like that's appropriate, right? Because I feel like if we do the same thing our ancestors, our before ancestors, because there's ancestors that come after us, we are the ancestors now. We are the ancestors of the now. Let that empower you, because you are literally the ancestors of now. All those generations that it took to get to you, to your specific form, congratulations on being that person. Because we wouldn't want you to be anybody else, okay? And so the reason I hopped on so fast, again, you're like, man, I don't see her for months at a time. What happened? This is weird. Is Mercury in retrograde? And I think the answer to that is yes. But super important, guys. This is off topic, but super important. August 19th is a blue moon. August 19th, coming up this Monday, is a blue moon. So you can do very powerful things if you're somebody who follows things like that. I don't know everything. All I know is that's a good day to manifest things. That's all I know. So if you're into manifesting, light your candles, write your affirmations of the things that you want to manifest, and give it to the moon. I guess, I'm not the know-it-all of everything. But I do know some things, and I follow the moon's rhythms. And if you do too, more power to you. So, toke them, smoke them, drink it. I'm always going to encourage water. You're like, where's her beetroot juice? Sometimes the body just calls for water. And my beetroot juice is actually preparing itself, because since I put chia seeds in it, right, you have to give those time to soak up the water or whatever you put in there. You at least have to soak them for 20 minutes, if not overnight. If not, do 4 hours. So do something long. So I try to do overnight, and sometimes I forget to do overnight. So I'll just do 20 minutes, and if I can, I might do like an hour or 2, 3 or 4. Again, I'd like to do overnight chia seeds, and that's the best thing if you're trying to manage your weight, if you're trying to do all this healthy stuff, gain muscle mass and not look like I'm not asking, you don't need to look like an ogre in order for you to have healthy muscle mass. Chia seeds will help with that. So I'm always going to encourage healthy stuff. But the reason I came back so early, right, is because I spazzed out on the last episode. If you caught Scar Story Part 4, congratulations. But if you caught that, you would have seen me spaz out a little bit. And I'm going to give you just a short space of time frame right now. So I was talking about the reason I started making the music that is, in different hertz, not in 440 hertz. None of my music is in 440 hertz. None of it. It's in either 432 and 117, or I go from 396 to 117, because 117 frequency is super healing as well. So again, we remember from last episode, if you know anything about healing frequencies or hertz in general, you know that all these different frequencies stimulate different things, and we know I'm going to keep reiterating this until we come to the same page and realizing that they duped us, they tricked us into listening to 440 hertz, because it is actually hurtful for a lot of us. And so let's say that you had an idea to hurt the masses so that they would be on pharmaceuticals and they would rely on your pills, because even in the Bible they talk about and we're gonna get back to what the musician part, right? Even in the Bible they talk about how they used to use psychics, right? And they would that guy Constantine even heard through a psychic that baby Jesus was born, and then this monster of a king, this beast, he goes out, not him personally, but he tells his goons and his guards and his soldiers to go kill all the little boys from the age of 2 down or something like that. So there was a complete massacre of children just because he listened to a psychic, and they tell us never to listen to psychics. Look at how contradictory that shit is. I don't appreciate that. I feel like if you're going to lead and guide me religiously, don't lie to me ever. Don't even lie. Don't even start one lie. You know what I mean? So don't tell me not to be psychic. Don't tell me not to indulge in my mediumship. I'm not saying I'm psychic, because I'm not. I'm saying that I'm going to get into my intuition and no one's going to stop me, because other people have used other people's intuition just to do terrible things. You know what I mean? So we're going to turn that shit around and use our intuition, our magical gifts and everything like that. Superpowers, whatever you might call it, dawns and, literal gifts, right? We're going to use that to manifest a new consciousness for the collective, right? Beginning with ourselves, we're going to learn how to change and be different, right? Because changing can be fun. Can you say that with me? Changing can be fun. Changing can be fun. Totally. Seriously. Okay, guys, since I only have you for a little bit of time, I'm going to remind you that advocacy is so important for yourself. That's why I'm back here talking for my past self, because I spazzed out and I didn't talk about what I wanted to talk about. I said I had this wonderful story for you guys, and then I didn't say it. So, because I went off into another realm right there. I ADHD'd out, or I whatever, I just went into another stream of consciousness and I started talking about other things. I feel like perhaps it was important anyways to talk about that stuff, but I also feel like it's important for you to know this tiny little story. I'm full of stories and everything. So, okay, and as I'm telling this story, I am packing it. And you know what? I'm not always going to do that. I'm not always going to pack. So if it excites you and it lets you grab yours and it's an appropriate time for you, go for it. And if it makes you never want to do single smoke or single anything, let that happen too. As you can see, it's taking a little bit of my time, but it's whatever. Sometimes you just have to live with symptoms, and then sometimes you really don't have to. That's why there's medical marijuana. That's why there's all kinds of aids for help out there. It's not just one kind of herb being used to heal. I'm not the strange one in using marijuana. Every pill out there is a derivative of a plant, and it's just mixed up with a little plastic this and a little this and a little that and whatever oils the pharmaceutical companies use to coagulate all this stuff and make it into a pill, right? And we know that there's much healthier ways to do this, but that's not the point. So let's get to the little cute story that I spazzed out on last time. that's just part of my life, guys. I'm not gonna like be upset with myself. I just let it be another excuse to get on and have another episode. So, because after you hear the story, you might be like, why? But anyways, let me tell you. So about my Reverend and Minister Michael Bernard Beckwith, I'm not saying that he's like the next Jesus. I'm saying that he encourages us to understand that we are all the next Jesus. We are all the living Christ consciousness. And I can say that with joy in my heart, right? Because who doesn't want sort of a collective consciousness that's peaceful, that's full of serenity, that's full of helpfulness. Instead of fighting, you know, they say, let me finish this story, right? About Michael Bernard. I go off topic, I go here and there. So sometimes this is why also smoking kind of really helps and puts you in sort of a focused mood sometimes, right? So if you got it, smoke it. If you don't, send up, you know, just prayers. Pray for all your family and friends. Pray for everything. It might sound silly, but whatever. You know, so we're gonna get to the reason why I made this music. And bless us all, everyone. Richly bless us. And to the ancestors, we give this sacramental aid. So we're so grateful that it also fills our body with medicine, right? So Michael Bernard Beckwith, Reverend and Minister, doctor, right? He's a doctor, and Reverend. I believe he has his doctorate in like the religious science or something like that. I'm not 100. I haven't researched him all the way. But the point is that the reason I made music, I have about 3 albums. If you're going to reach out and listen to anything on YouTube, you can listen to it on YouTube. I'm also on Spotify. But it's more, I mean, I feel like listen on YouTube because I need all the points I can get. Maybe I'll get monetized at some point. But the point is that the music was inspired from a lifetime of love of music. I love music, right? And this is pertaining to the story that I spazzed out on last week. I'm giving myself a chance to come back and just tell it. I'm being kind to myself and not mean and being like, oh, what a jerk. I didn't even share that story. I'm so spazzed. I'm not going to be hard on myself. So in lieu of all this time that we get to spend together, we're going to make it short and sweet, right? So I had a lifetime of wanting to make music. Pardon me, and if that disgusts you, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna swallow that shit, right? If you're detoxing, you need to let it out. So, all right, guys. So I'm listening, or I feel like I was in the audience. I'm not sure because sometimes I volunteer at Agape, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just go and just be there. A lot of times I look for it online. I just go to YouTube and type in Agape Live. Or, you know, you can go to their website, agapelive.com. So one day the Reverend was talking about how, you know, it is important for musicians to start making healing music. He said, and he specifically said, I wish I had recorded that. I wish I could find it so I can do a little soundbite or something. Because he said musicians do healing hurts. Make music that heals. Let's make healing profitable. And that just sent out like a ding in my head. Like ding, like he said the magic word. You know, make healing music. Because I'm the kind of person that I was, probably like yourself, we're born with a great intuition. We're born with extremely good instincts, right? And sometimes it falters. Sometimes we don't listen to it, and maybe we get mixed up in the wrong crap, right? So that's why I encourage your being smart and doing intelligent choices all the time, right? Don't get into criminal activity. Do get into healing activities. Get into things that inventions that will heal the planet. You know, and you don't necessarily have to be an inventor of things. You can be an inventor of a new kind of light on the earth. You know, somebody so joyful like yourself that we've never have encountered before, because you're here to represent what that could look like. So you know what? Yeah. After that, you know, I said, yeah, that's for sure. I started kind of dabbling in the music, and I remember too on one of the times that I went to. I feel like this helped a lot because the weekend after this happened, I went to volunteer at Agape in Beverly Hills. I was feeling super bougie, and I went to Beverly Hills to volunteer at church. And he came up to me, and I specifically waited at the entrance because I wanted to see him and I wanted to say good morning and everything like that. I specifically waited by the entrance, by where all the volunteers were coming in and all the church people were coming in. So I stayed there, just hanging out, just very nonchalantly, just chilling, and just standing there. I was just standing there, and he walks in, and I say good morning. I say good morning, Reverend, or something like that, and he goes boop. He goes boop. Right in my right, like to my third eye, right to my first eye. And I swear, I'm not saying he's Jesus. He's reminding us that we are all part of Christ consciousness. Some people let Christ lead. Some people let God lead. You know, if we're having confusion there, that's just another word for the originating factor of the universe. You know, don't get it twisted. And with the popular Christianity, you know, because this church is non-denominational, so they're not asking you to, you know, join any denomination. This is what, gotta let the sounds happen. This is what life is about, right? So because of all that, because he said what he said to make healing music, I thought to myself, and then that little boom in my third eye, but more so it was his like encouragement to make healing music, because since I've always wanted to make music, I thought to myself, bingo, that's it. That's how I'll get into music, by making healing music, because up to that point, I kind of, talking about the instinct stuff, right? Some of us are blessed with it, or insight, divine insight, right? I knew that the music industry wasn't healthy. I knew something was the matter, something up. I didn't want to be a part of the music industry as just a regular person. I didn't want to just produce music. I didn't know deep down why I didn't want to produce regular ass music. I knew if I produced music, that had to be a little bit different, and it has to serve a purpose. And I would love it for it to heal, right? And so when he said those magic words about musicians make healing music, you know, I said, yeah, I mean, I feel like you just opened the door for a dream that I've always kind of had in the back of my mind, that I pushed to the side, because I said, damn, they're just using like music for shitty shit. You know, I don't want to be like one of those, you know, Christian Pentecostal people. They're like, oh, the music is bad and they're putting witchcraft, but they really are. You know what I mean? There's account of a lot of people doing this shit. You know, exploiting us, our fragile listening ears, fragile listening ears. You know, and they're exploiting us. And again, I'm gonna say it again until you remember that 440 hertz, which every music is set to, unless it has been changed, is set at. It is harmful to the majority of our population. It's harmful to the majority of the beings. That's why, like, so many of us are walking around with depression, with anxiety, with all kinds of bullshit, and we're just listening to the music that is inspiring it. You hear me? Like, I just want you to know, you don't have to be a slave to their trickery, right? And like last time I shared, look up any song in 432 hertz. 432 hertz is the Earth's heartbeat. So basically, you can listen to you know, that's the vibration, that's the sound that the Earth makes, is 432 hertz. Now, there's a lot of other hertz out there, so I encourage you to explore them all. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do another episode on it. You know, if you give me a second. Telling you this is going to be a short episode, and you're like, where's the scar story? It's coming. So okay, so you know, the whole point of, I think I'm going to have a specific episode on the frequencies, okay? So basically, if you want to write this down. So and you can find this online. So for the third eye chakra, to heal that, you do 852 hertz. For the third eye, it's 852 hertz. For the throat chakra, it's 741 hertz. For the heart chakra, it is 639 hertz. For the solar plexus chakra, it is 528 hertz. For the sacral chakra, it is 417. For the root chakra, it is 396. A lot of different stuff, guys. I've been learning a lot of different stuff about her. She's like, what are you saying? Change the way you listen to music. Change your life. Change your vibration. Change your energy. Don't let them fool you into giving yourself cancer, into giving yourself depression, into giving yourself anxieties. Just simply change the hertz and be kinder to yourself. There's people that are so cool. Again, I'm gonna state it again. There's people that are just taking regular ass music, any song you like, and they put it into 432. Why do I say 432? Because it is the Earth's heartbeat. Heal yourself with the Earth's heartbeat. You might like any of those other numbers because any of your chakras might need more healing than the other. I don't know your life. I just encourage healthy and healing stuff. So now if you're going to look for my music, it's 999 Ancestors. I would say start with the Hue album. You know, and that's my first. And then my oh my God, I feel like I've done so much in such a little time, and you know, I feel like it's not committed to memory. But the other two albums are other names. My favorite song though, Pink Sunset. You'll find that on. I believe I put that on. Which one? Man, I'm like tripping. Let me go to my little thing here. Oh, I can just pull up my little account here. But that's crazy. You're like, how do you not know your own music? But I feel like I don't promote myself a lot. But I definitely really should, right? Okay, so we got to get to that story because I got stuff to do. But what I'm doing here is making sure that I give you the albums, because really all the albums are different. Okay, so obviously my first album was my first album, and I would suggest listening to the other ones. But that's not the point. I'm still giving myself credit for everything. So I have Hue, right? And that's basically the first one. That's the first one. They're all still healing, hurts, everything. And then we've got Ujat, which is firm, solid eye. You're like, what? So just look up 999 Ancestors on YouTube. Go to the albums and go to Ujat. That sounds funny. It's Ujat. Udjat. I know it sounds funny, but that one has my favorite song, Pink Sunset. It also has Garnet Heart. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. Hue. Even though it's the beginning album, it has a few of them that are pretty cool to me. So let's say on Hue, I would check out Meche. That's like a you can dance to it. Okay, but anyway, all this music is healing. And then my last one, actually there's about 4, right? So you got Hue, you got Ujat, and then Ancestor Dragon. That's another album. And then the very last one I did was Able Nation. So it's just because I did so many songs, I had to put them into like different albums and different categories and everything like that. So I personally love the Firm Solid Eye album, and that has one of my all favorites. Also Able Nation, you know, it's every song, every time you compose something, you get better and better, right? If practice makes perfect. Not perfect, but practice makes better. Practice makes better. Remember that, right? We're not looking for perfection. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to, do that. But anyways, I'm not here to be perfect, right? Shout out to people that make mistakes and own them. So, okay, so we had that spaz moment. I'm going to tell you briefly because I don't have that much time. I do have all the time to do the things I need to do, but I don't have that much time right now because I need to go do stuff. And so, anyways, what I wanted to get into the scar story now, right? So, drink some water, do your thing. Picture it. The year is like 1990. I'm like 8 years old. You're like, how old are you? I'm actually like 375, but that's not the point. So, I'm kidding. I'm not that. It's not true. I'm not that old. But anyway, so I'm telling you, I was 8 years old in 1990, okay? Not 1890. Not 1690. Anyways, so I'm like 8 years old, and this scar here, I can kind of show you a little bit, but it might be hidden, right? I feel like you can see it. Can you see it? I know you can see it. So there's times I don't show you stuff because I'm like, it's relevant to show them because you can't see nothing anyways. The one on my face you can't see. The filter is doing a very good job. You know, I don't absolutely look opposite of this, but this filter does help me like not have to put on concealer, stuff like that, and whatever. So, and nobody has perfect skin, guys. I mean, you're gonna catch me with some shit, right? So picture it, 1990. I'm 8 years old, and I have this little. I started to grow this little mass on my thumb, right? I'm a little 8-year-old, and there's this little like ball right here on my thumb, and I had it for like almost a year. Until like I told my mom, I said, what is this? Can you tell me what this is? Is this ever gonna go away? You know, up until that point, a few of my brothers had surgery for warts on their hands, right? They were like a little kid and they had a lot of warts on their hands. It's crazy. It was weird. I remember that. And then, you know, the next day they come home with like bandages and all of them got burnt off and now they don't have them anymore, you know. And so anyways, I had this ball, this squishy ass little ball on my thumb. And I thought, you know, I need to tell my mom. So I told my mom, went to the doctor, and they were like, we don't know what this is. The doctor, you know, moved it around, asked me if it hurt. I said no. You know, it really didn't hurt at all. It was just this mass, this little mass right there on my thumb, and it would move. It could move. You know, it was kind of funny. It stayed in one little spot. So he told my mom that we don't know what it is. It could be many things, and we need to perform a biopsy. Remember, I'm 8 years old, right? I've never been in like major surgery. I think I went to the hospital once, you know, for like an emergency. When I was 2 years old, I almost got killed by a car, but she swerved. And all the time, every time I bring up that story, I will richly bless her and all her family and ancestry. That lady, that blessed lady, that richly blessed lady that moved to the side so that she didn't hit me. And the wind of her car going by me threw me into the street, and I was all banged up anyways. But at least she didn't hit me and kill me, right? I mean, I could have been a dead little 2-year-old. So watch your little babies, watch all this stuff. That was a totally different story. But you know, I did want to make sure that you advocate for yourself, and that's not why I went off into the 2-year-old thing. I was talking about why I was in the hospital. Up until that point, at my 8-year-old self, that was only once before that I had to like be at the hospital, right? I was pretty healthy. And so when they scheduled a surgery for my thumb, right, to do a biopsy, they did say it could have been cancer. It could just be like a fat ball. It could be some sort of an abscess, you know, whatever. They're gonna do exploratory surgery, a little biopsy to see what's up in there. So I remember my little self like being inside of the big hospital bed, and I remember crying because they wouldn't let my mom come into the surgery room, and she was like watching from like the windows out there, and I was just like, Mama. I was like 8, right? And so, or 7, I could have been like 7. I don't know. I'm not 100 the age, because depending on what month that it actually was, I could have been 7 or 8. So so anyways, when we woke up from the surgery, They told my mom it was just like a little fat ball that had accumulated in my thumb, and they took it out, and then I had like, I don't know, what is this, 4 stitches. So at 8 years old, I gained my first stitches. I was like 7 or 8. So first stitches on my body, I remember them, and they were blue, and they kind of just no, they had to be cut off, and I remember even once, like, probably the scar is so visible because I remember going to Disneyland with my family, and whenever, this is besides the point, right, but like whenever we got into the cups, so be careful about people with injuries and everything around you, because I got onto the little cup, spinning cup at Disneyland with my dad and my cousin, and while we were turning the little handle to turn the cup, he accidentally put his like hand over my stitches, and like it actually opened my stitches, and I was like, ow, and you know, I had to just kind of like get away because he was like not paying attention that he was like hurting my finger. But anyway, so I stopped spinning, but anyway, now I have a lovely story of my thumb and why it has a scar. I know you're like, boo, that one was not interesting, it was very boring, but look, the point is that exploratory surgeries are not scary. If something ever were to happen in your life, you have a bump, you have this, don't forget to check for lumps, ladies and gentlemen. Men are and can be prone to breast cancer as well. I know it sounds silly because you guys don't have breasts, but you have the same tissues we do. Not saying you don't have mammary glands, but you know, you have same tissues that can turn into cancer and same kind of body parts. So always check that. Oh, you know, obviously men check downstairs. Us, there's no way unless, you know, we females, we got to go get checked regularly. Even if you are in a relationship and you don't sleep with nobody else, whatever, you kind of had at least make a point to go like once a year, every other year, something like that. Do something for yourself so that you can identify things before they take you down. I'm not saying that little fat ball was going to take me down. I'm saying that, let's say if it had been cancer, what if it had grown and then I would have ended up like with like elephantitis hand? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it was going to grow into. At that point, it was just getting a little bit bigger and bigger every other all the months, you know. But you know, I'm encouraging you to always check yourself, and then make sure you go to the physician, not just when you're sick, you know, but if you've got something like that, like a bump. I'm not saying just go every 6 months just for fun. I'm saying especially when you find things, don't be afraid to go advocate for yourself. And you know, oh, we need to check this out because we get, what if it is, you know, cancerous or something like that, and then it would have grown into something else, and you could have helped yourself through the many means that there is to be helped, right? So that's it, guys. But we're gonna end on a money magnet affirmation by Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor. So guys, this affirmation is a money magnet, right? So write it down if you need to, but it is, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Say that to yourself a million, trillion, gajillion, Google of times. So I don't know, guys. It's up to you. Do you want to be a money magnet? I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Let's call that in. And let's take a little toke for all of us to do that. And one more thing, we're gonna end with 2 more things. I know we usually end on prayer and everything like that, but we're gonna skip that. We're not gonna do that. So, but I do pray for you and all your family and your friends that everything is good and harmonious and full of serenity, and all health and wealth, happiness be yours. So we actually did do a little prayer. So, but anyways, amen. But the point is, excuse me. I wanted to end with something different, not prayer. So this is the inspirational message of the day. And this is by a gentleman called Mitchell Clark. So Mitchell Clark says, how do you pick yourself up again? Question. This is a question mark. How do you pick yourself up again? Confidently, deliberately, decisively, without shame. You forgive yourself in full. You believe in your ability to break cycles that used to hold you hostage. You remember that mistakes will never define you. They'll never define you. Okay, guys? Remember that. You need to hear it again? You know what I'm going to do? One day I'm going to translate all this stuff and have it just a great bilingual episode. So, the inspirational message of the day. How do you pick yourself up again? Right? ¿Cómo te levantas otra vez? So confidently, deliberately, decisively, without shame. You forgive yourself in full. You believe in your ability to break cycles that used to hold you hostage. You remember that mistakes will never define you. So since mistakes don't define you, since language is not a problem, since you're divine intelligence, then I encourage you to do great and wonderful and powerful things. Even if it's just daily exercise, slow moving exercise every day will still give you results. Even just jumping, doing whatever, do stretching, that'll change your life. And we're just the collective consciousness that wants to help and heal each other. Because if you're here with me, that's probably what you want to do. So last thing I want to advise is humming with your fingers in your ears. This is silly, right? So it's called Brahmari. Brahmari is the practice of humming with your fingers in your ears. So I know I look kind of silly, but what that does is it decalcifies your brain. It decalcifies your pineal gland. So if you've been looking for a way to decalcify yourself, do the Brahmari, which is the humming with your fingers in your ears. And remember, humming is healing. It's healing, okay? So that's it, guys. You have a great and powerful evening. Go forward and be an advocate for yourself in everything, guys. Double check that, triple check that. And if they're not being serious about you, go to another practitioner, go to another doctor. There's a million trillion of them out there. And so thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. You've been great. Go out there and confidently, deliberately, decisively, without shame, believe in yourself. Go out there and believe in yourself. Okay? Because the universe believed in you so much, it gave you a heart, your body, for absolutely free. Right? So thank you for being on the planet with us. You're loved. Take care. Bye. Well, hello. And welcome back. How do you do? How's your do? What do you do? Welcome back. How you doing? This is going to be such a quick and easy and smooth episode.